Was bishop e3 on their radar at all?
I think after he played bishop c1, probably Jorden spotted
And seeing knight c5 and that bishop c1 doesn't work and then it hits you. That I had a move that stopped knight c5.
And bishop e3 was the move which could have captured that monstrous knight on c5. So it's the move had so much importance.
By the way, guys, Vincent Keimer might win before this game's resignation happens. Look at this rare option about to resign there.
10 seconds for rare option.
Should we go there very quickly?
Let's do it.
Let's go to rare option.
And you know, it's going to be...
5, 4, 3. Oh, Ray finally plays. It's a blunder.
He goes bishop f1, but b2, b1 is coming. So Vincent is just so... And let's quickly, now that we know that this is not resignation, let's go there. Okay, here also there's no resignation. No one wants to resign, you know. Everyone wants to play till the end.
But it is the end. That's the point. Both these games, you know, for rare option also, so much pressure put by Vincent from pretty much the middle game until that last move that we just saw. Blunders don't happen out of a vacuum. It's just a player cracks when you have to face difficult moves after moves.
Under 60 seconds now. Jorden has less time than Anish.
It's not about the clock. That's the thing. You could have 1 hour on the clock, and I think Jorden would be using that much time. It's just dealing with the emotions right now.
It's painful.
Yeah. We are all like
You think it just gets
silently
flagged that there will be no resignation, there will be no move?
of this Gukesh versus Nadirbek game from the Olympiad where he plays a move. Rook d3.
Rook d3 wants to give a check.
But knight b3 is a check.
Oh, and then he has queen b2 maybe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He reaches out. It's going to be the
He's going
finish.
for it.
That is a beautiful line. Sacrifice the queen only to make another one.
Wow, he goes for it.
Nice. Beautiful. And handshake. Anish Giri scores his first win of the Chennai Grand Masters 2025 after 8 draws.
Tanya, he's
Bishop
pointing
e3. Bishop e3 told instantly. And Jorden was like, yeah. I think he's quite upset there.
Yeah, Jordan's, I think, quite frustrated with the way it happened. And Anish pointing out the winning move there.
Yeah, I think they're discussing bishop e3 there, and Jorden not happy at all that he missed that.
Yeah, it's just tough, no? You play this beautiful game, this complex fight, and it takes 2 to make an art piece on chess. Anish played equally well. And then 1 move away from win, you make the losing move on the board, and there's no coming back from there, and Jordan's dealing with all of that right now. Maybe you can just show this finishing line as well while we have our live analysis board. That bishop takes queen.
Takes, king takes, you make a queen, king c2, and then you can win in many different ways. But this might be the easiest.
And now Adhiban can actually try for an advantage with queen c5.
Going for it.
That looked like queen c5. That had no... felt like a forward.
And then I think black is forced to trade queen e3 check. And Tanya, why did he allow? Would you like to connect his pawns for white?
You know, he's going to be suffering beyond mental side in this late game because of the 2 connected passes that are so far advanced, but you have to do it. Queen e7 is game over otherwise. You need the queens off the board.
Yeah, you must play queen e3, takes, rook e3 and e6 with none of the pawns that you can capture. You could go rook g5 and by the way guys, we are going to have... Oh my god, a huge blunder! Huge blunder by Leon, rook d7! Why we have a champion of the Masters section here? Big round of applause to his friends. And also, Anish, we are joining in, scoring a very important win in the last round.
It's just like yes. We're just going to interview Anish in a few minutes. How are you feeling, man?
I'm very excited. I mean, he just won his last game, and he always has very interesting things that he always says in interviews. I'm looking forward to what he's going to say this time. Anish, you just won your game against your countrymate Jorden in the 9th round. I was taking a look at the opening. I was a bit surprised that you got this c5, c4 move. Do you think that that was the key moment?
Yeah, I think it's he sort of underestimated / blundered that move. But unfortunately, now fortunately, this was only the first of the key moments, and there was a lot more stuff to come.
And at some point after c4, and you played this move after knight g5, knight 5 to f6, and you thought for 15 minutes in this position because you played knight 7 to f6, yes, allowing e4, and then you played this move e5. How difficult was it to find this sequence?
Well, to be frank, I missed knight g5 initially. Well, obviously I saw it cannot be dangerous for me. I right away understood that knight 7 f6 e4 is his idea. I right away saw that I have h6. So I was gonna do it immediately. Like I thought he blundered h6. Then I realized he has h4, threatening e5. Then I realized after h6 h4 I have e5, and it looked amazing. And then I saw the line ed long castle, c3 I calculated because I first wanted to regain the piece. I calculated bishop e1. Don't ask me why. I saw queen f4 check, king b1, takes 6, and the h file is open, and bishop f5, bishop b3. And then I had this epiphany that I can do the same without h6, h4, and there I can just collect queen g5. And that's how I got this awful idea to do it without h6, h4. And then I blundered the move king b1 altogether. Not blunder, like I saw it in the other line, like that I will play for compensation. But now when I play for compensation, his knight is not hanging anymore, and my pawn h7 is hanging. So I got just the same thing, like almost a tempo down. And I was so annoyed, I lost so much time that I kind of lost control there of the game. I had to do the same thing with h6, h4 included, and also I had to maintain more time. Because I had compensation in the game also, but it was so difficult to play with so little time. And I was only really very fortunate that he overlooked my trick in the end.
And after ed4, c3, and you played this move a5, I mean, from a practical perspective, it looks good for you, but he also has some counterplay, right?
Yeah, it's an illusion that, like, initially when I saw this, I was even going to go a5 without c3. Consider that. I think I should have done that with h6, h4 included to do the a5 without c3, or maybe even with c3. Basically, if I do the same thing with h6, h4 included, it must be a much better version for me, like a much better version. And the thing about the position is that, like, I saw a5 very fast, that I can play for attack, but you should not be fooled. Like, the attack is very abstract and very slow for me because I don't have pieces there. And when I go a, b, and ba, my pawns are covering his king. So what I get is like some sort of long-term asset, but no short-term attack. And actually, short-term, he has some attack in some of the lines. It's like, for example, if I don't go h6 with g6, there's h4, h5 coming. So I have a good position, probably, but it is not that I have free-flowing attack.
Correct.
At least I need to develop it. Like, I don't have pieces in there at all. My knight on f6 is not there. My bishop on c8 is not there. My rook on a8 is going to be staring at the a pawn. So it looks better, like, it looks like I'm sort of crushing practically. But once I started thinking, I realized that actually practically it is not so easy for me.
And then I think, as you said, the last critical moment came when you took the pawn, when he took the pawn on h6, you played knight d7, and then he allowed this move knight c5.
This was actually quite funny. Like when he took on h6, I was calculating first gh because normally I had only 1 minute. I must manage my time.
Yeah.
So, I normally you have to calculate the straight line, which is like gh,
Queen f7,
takes,
rook g8,
take d7, queen c2, queen f6, king h7, queen f7, rook g7. I saw this, and I was gonna go for it. Then I saw that he doesn't have to do this thing like d7. He can sort of play multiple moves, and he's not forced there. And then suddenly I had this idea, like, hang on, knight, because I always wanted knight d7. Knight d7, knight c5 was always the idea in the position. Like, hang on, I have knight d7. Then I saw that, oh, he moves the bishop queen before queen h4, and then I was like, oh, but I have queen h7 back, and I was like, this is epic. So, and then
you had just 1 minute, no? A few seconds actually.
No, but this all happened in the 1 minute. This whole thing, and then I'm like, okay, gh kind of works. Knight d7, and I have like no time at all, and I'm just sort of like, okay, whatever, yeah, like let's just go knight d7. I had like 10 seconds left, and I had no time to verify either. And actually, finally, I missed the best move, which is knight g8. But I was like, you have to realize that like people, of course, you don't think about game, especially when you have little time, in these terms. Like if you see the position now, what is black's move? Okay, maybe I'll find knight g8. But when I play a game, there's certain ideas that are floating around. Like, for example, those ideas of going knight g4 at some point after bishop e3. Then I realized that knight f6 is a bad piece. Then I realized, this idea knight d7, knight c5. It was there for many moves to reroute knight to c5, and I was choosing to go knight d7 after d6. Or then I thought, I go rook e8 first, and then d6, d7, rook d8. I collect the pawn, and the bishop h6 came out of the blue. It was a total shock. But this knight d7 idea, it was constantly in my head. And knight g8 was never an idea. It's just there right now.
Correct.
Or maybe it was an idea, but my king was on g8 a few moves ago. It just appeared now. So I was kind of thinking between these two moves. And as soon as I played knight d7, I noticed bishop e3, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Bishop e3, and there. But then as I realized, okay, I can take queen f7, knight f6. Could be a draw, maybe somehow still. And okay, I have already good record. I already 8 out of 8 draws, so I'm like a draw magnet. So it should be a draw, should be fine. And I was like, okay. At that point, I thought draw is fine already. I'm long lost control of the game, and nothing. So I thought like, yeah, maybe I'm holding sort of. And I was hoping it would just be a draw. Computer said it's losing, which doesn't surprise me, but I was hoping it's a draw. And then he finally blundered with that issue. I was hoping for, yeah.
And after this, when you finished joint second, one question that I would like to ask about this game, Anish, is that whenever you said that you missed this move of his bishop to e3, how do you control your emotions and expressions? Like, because when it's possible that someone blunders and you just panic, yeah, and then it's possible that your opponent gets signed from that.
Well, generally there are two types of blunders you can make. There are types of blunders after which the game is lost. And obviously lost. And then usually people let themselves go because then you're just upset. You're no longer tense. There's nothing to hide anymore. The game is essentially over, just formality, and you let yourself go. So your emotion is shown. But there are types of blunders where the game is still ongoing after the blunders. And those blunders usually you are not showing as much reaction, and you're not as much impacted. Like I didn't think like blunder, oh no. I thought like blunder. What next?
Correct.
Because another okay, take knight f6.
You're still fighting, yeah.
Of course, and in those moments, sometimes I even in the game, inside the game, I have this good habit at least that I don't think like back. Although sometimes I really do, like this h6 moment was extremely annoying, but I kind of try to shake it off. But very often, especially in time trouble, you don't have time to process what happens. You just make moves. Like, for example, I once beat Magnus Carlsen in a blitz game. It was such a tense game. I was like focused on calculation the entire time. I was, trying to like, I was low on time, very complex position. My king was somewhere weak, and I was very, very tense. And in the end, he resigned, and I didn't know what happened. Like, I won the game, but I didn't know. And then later, I looked at the game calmly with an engine, and it was like he made one mistake in the opening, and he was lost, like -1, let's say, the entire game. And it was a very smooth win for me. Like you can look up, it was from World Blitz Championship, nice game in Berlin. Yeah, actually very nice one because he completely tilted him this game, and he didn't win World Championship for that one. World Blitz, one of the few World Championships that he didn't win. So this was a big game for me, and it's one of those games where like sometimes you sort of are in the moment and you don't really realize what's going on. And even blunders, you sort of realize you blundered, but you're so in the moment that you don't even fully register this blunder. You just see, okay, I missed something. You don't realize the evaluation switched. You just think, okay, it's still fight. I can still. You just are in the game mode. So I was feeling still hopeful.
That's very insightful to know. After this, what's next for you in this year? Where can we see you play next?
Well, I'll play Grand Swiss now. It will come soon. I think it's. I've done my best this year. I'm really happy with how I'm coming to Grand Swiss. Played a lot of classical chess, more than I like. I really went out of my way after Vike. I called up the Prague. I agreed readily to play here. I could have also, frankly, like doubled my ask for starting fee if I want, and then probably not play. Maybe get double the fee. Should maybe try. But anyway, I didn't do this. I'll have to ask Srinat if I ask double what he would have given me. But
maybe next time, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but Vincent should ask double. I'm sure I should ask double. But what I mean to say is that it is not like I played it because it was obvious I should play it. It's not like there was some insane money paid to me to play. It was fine. I got what I asked. I didn't ask anything crazy though. Knowing that okay, this is a good tournament, but it's that. And I played this. I played Charger as well. Similarly, I could have also not played there, but it worked out really well. And I've played a lot of classical chess with different players. I got to learn a lot about the way the players are now because they're changing. Like so much like within the years, some of the players, the same people, like I don't know, like Awander or Pranav or Karthikeyan, they're very different still. They have different strengths and weaknesses, and from their games you can't really perceive it as well as when you are playing. So let's say, you know, one thing is that I see Karthikeyan's games. First of all, a bunch of his games are like a year old or more, and you still look at them, they look fresh, like 2022, 2023, feels like yesterday, right? But actually that was a different person. So actually you have very few data, and these games you don't know like what both players prepared exactly. But now when you play yourself, you try to prepare against him, you try to beat him, and then it works or doesn't work. In my case, doesn't. And then you try to understand why, what went wrong. You know, if I play him now next time, should I do, you know, what should I do differently? And this kind of information is very, very valuable for playing classical chess, because rapid ability you just play, yeah.
So basically, when you're playing these open events, which before, I guess 2-3 years back, when you were only playing these closed events, do you think like playing these open events with, like, you know, all the inventions of this, even 2,500 players being really good in the opening, do you think playing these kind of players gives you a different perspective of?
No, but it's very fascinating because, you know, they are good at almost everything, but they are still lower rated than some others. So there is something. There's something that they do less good than others, because if they were all really good, everybody would have more or less the same rating, but it's not the case.
Correct.
So the art now, like before, it was more obvious that this guy knows nothing, this guy knows everything. It was obvious, it was the knowledge, the opening knowledge, mostly, and with opening comes basic middle games and like chess culture and all. But now, you know, when you have a 2,400, 2,500 guy who has a repertoire which is quite good, which is similar level of 2650 guy repertoire. He seems to do everything well. He knows how to hold rook against rook bishop. And the question is to find out then what is it that he's missing. And it's really hard because before it was obvious and now it's not, but there is something, and you have to try and find that in the games. And after you find it, you have to try and utilize it in your game, because the thing is, if the guy will play 10 games, he will perform as his rating. He will lose to some people, but it could be not to you. Maybe he will lose to Vincent. And I have to make sure that he loses to me also, not only to Vincent. Or rather to me and not to Vincent. That's the problem. So it is really difficult, and it became harder than before. Because before I could just play, I would get huge advantage from the opening against any player under top, easily. It would take me, with my knowledge, like, we had a joke with my friend, like in half an hour, I would break their repertoires that they've been building for years. I would just lie on the sofa, open my laptop, in half an hour, we call it half an hour rule. In half an hour, every player, his repertoire would be broken. And after they played me, they would have to change their opening, or the book that they were using, turned out to be bad. Like so, then I'm not very good at converting winning positions, so sometimes I wouldn't convert. That's why I didn't win all the games. But I was getting huge advantages every time. And now, I have to still understand, I have still strengths compared to these people, but it's much harder, and it's much more interesting and creative. But much harder work.
Thanks a lot, Anish. I think maybe Himank has one question.
Anish, okay, not one but two questions for you now. One question just popped into my head. First of all, this thing I've noticed, I'm not sure if you agree with this or not. Games between you and Jorden are always super fighting and tense. And like the same thing happened here. Like, is there something
I can tell you the secret.
Okay, what's the secret, sir?
The games between Jorden and anybody else are always super fighting and exciting.
So it's like not special to you?
No, I think it's, he's a very fighting player, and he really plays extremely fighting chess against everybody. Maybe one thing is that he maybe thinks that, because against some people, maybe he thinks that he can try to beat them in a more calm way.
Yeah.
And maybe against me, because he knows me really well, he knows that maybe to try and beat me, he has to really make a mess on the board, and then he really makes it. But also, I sort of take up the challenge a little bit, but to be honest, it doesn't really leave me choice. It's not that I really take up the challenge as much. Like, I would rather have the game be quiet, of course, and boring. I think that's where I'm better than him. Although I have also some strengths in complicated positions. I think he's also some weaknesses.
As was shown today, for example.
Yeah. I mean, he's a tremendous player, but he does make oversights regularly. So, but I'm not really, But yeah, he's mostly really that and also he knows me very well. So he knows, because many people, they would think that if they do something against me, it would create a fun position. But actually, I know how to make that position boring. But he knows that I know how to make the position boring. So he knows, he has more information on me than others. So it's easier for him to generate a game against me than for other people. Like he knows where not to look. He knows, like, we've been preparing for candidates before. Like, he knows positions on which I spent 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
He knows that other people don't know, and they maybe go for it. He knows that it's not a good idea to go for them. So he has information, what I like, what I dislike. And he offered me a lot of his ideas. He knew which ideas I liked. He knew which ideas I don't like. He knows what are my preferences. Of course, I'm changing and evolving, and I'm trying to do that, especially for playing people like Jorden, that I'm a little bit ahead of him, that he doesn't realize that I've changed a little bit. Still, I don't change as much as I wish I would. And I still have my preferences and my strengths because, I'm experienced. I should use my experience, so I'm trying to still rely on it. So, yeah, but he knows me really well, and he really wants to beat me. I think he wants to prove a point there, which is good. And also, when you play, each other so often, white and black, like if you play like boring games with white all the time, you'll never win a game with white, and you might lose some games with black. So
Yes.
he knows that, we'll play each other many times. He has to try and beat me with white. So he's trying that.
Yeah. Anish, and final question for you. This is on a bit of an off topic. So yesterday, Peter Heine Nielsen made a tweet about you. I think you came in here and you did some interviews with the local media on day one. And in one of those interviews, you spoke about freestyle chess and how, like, your views on it. And then Peter Heine Nielsen made a quote tweet on that, mentioning that you have made 8 draws in a row, and that is why freestyle chess is more interesting. I would just want to know your thoughts on that, especially after today's win.
First of all, what is interesting is he tweeted yesterday, not today.
Yeah,
As
yesterday.
an experienced coach, he has a sense for the trend and when the streak is about to end, which is very nice to show. He could have waited for today, one more draw, and that would be nicer. If he complete tournament 9 draws, make a tweet. He did it yesterday, which shows experience. But frankly, I think he just was trying to maybe tease me because, frankly, that's what I've been also saying. We should not decide whether classical chess is alive or dead based on the results of one washed player, which in this case is myself. But let's not do that. I mean, the tournament's been great. Vincent's been rolling. Many people have been playing really well. Just because I made the draws, because Nihal and Vidit didn't convert winning positions against me, thankfully. That has nothing to do with classical chess. Like, how is there are other, and this is a mistake they make. They're also thinking from the one player perspective. And they're realizing, how do we have a competitive edge in the game where everybody knows all the openings? Our team effort and all these Jordans and Dubovs can generate nothing special as compared to people like Avander and Kartikyan and Pranav. And they're not able to find that edge anymore. It's their problem. It's not the chess problem. And the draw streak is my problem. It's not chess problem.
Thank you so much, Anish, for your time. Once again, congratulations, finishing joint second with a nice win, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A very hearty congratulations to the first runner-up of the Masters, Anish Giri